What happened to Blackpool? I had a hard time believing what is happening to Blackpool in recent years. Let me confess, I was not excited about adding Blackpool to the list of the worst places in the UK or the worst seaside towns in England in my videos. I just had to do so because that is consistent with our ideals of standing by nothing but the truth, no matter whose ego is bruised. It's saddening to see a grim example of how a lovely town can fall from grace to grass in the seaside town of Blackpool. But what happened to Blackpool? Owing to the plenitude of negative rankings of the town these days, I decided to probe deeper into these rankings. My discoveries will definitely surprise you. Where is Blackpool? Blackpool is a large seaside town and resort in Lancashire. Located northwest coast of England, Blackpool is the main settlement within the Blackpool borough. Perhaps best known by sports lovers for being home to Blackpool FC or for Blackpool Pleasure Beach and Blackpool Tower, the town is also a popular seaside resort in the UK, but now among the worst of them. It is the town currently with the largest population in the county, with 145,007 residents. The urban settlement's last known population of 147,663 makes it the most populous settlement in Lancashire and the 50th in the UK. This huge town, occupying an area of 34.47 kilometres square or 13.31 square miles, used to be a great resort. Sitting by the Irish Sea, it is between the Ribble and Wyre rivers. 43 kilometres or 27 miles north of Liverpool and 64 kilometres or 40 miles northwest of Manchester. The historical perspectives of Blackpool. Many people would trace the history of Blackpool as far back as the period of the start of railways, when they thought these seaside towns started growing. However, the local history of this town goes back much further than that. It even predates those holidays of the Lancashire mill towns. Two discoveries gave this hint in 1970. A skeleton of an elk was found on a site at Carlton, across Blackpool's sixth form college. Barbed arrowheads found with that carcass are an indication that it didn't die naturally, but rather was hunted by man. And it was estimated to be over 11,000 years old, which was so far the earliest evidence of human habitation in the north of Britain. The second set of discoveries was the Roman coins found at Rosal, some of which had been in existence around 80 AD. The name of the town Blackpool itself came from the discoloured waters of Le Pool. The water's discoloured streams draining Marton Mere and Marton Moss through peatlands. As the steam ran alongside Blackpool Old Road, it created a pool with a seemingly black colour that went into the sea near the place now known as Manchester Square. The name was first seen as Blackpool in the 1602 Bisham Parish Baptismal Register. Edward Tildesley, the Squire of Myerscough, who was the son of the royalist Sir Thomas Tildesley, was the first to build a house in the area which was named Foxhall. Foxhall was built towards the end of the 1600s. The glorious past. Back in the late 1780s, there were 4 large hotels catering to the well-to-do in Blackpool society, namely Bailey's, which is now the Metropole, and Foreshaw's, now the Clifton Arms, plus Hudson's and Hull's. Based on the standard of those days, they were in the class of at least 8-star hotels of modern times. At Bonny's, there was another offer of accommodation at King Edward VII, Chapel Street, and yet at Elston's, later known as the York Hotel. Visitors to the coast at this time enjoyed horse riding on the beach. They could walk on the 6 yards wide promenade and enjoy archery facilities together with bowling greens. The most significant event that contributed to the early growth of Blackpool occurred in 1846. That was when a branch line to Blackpool from Poulton was completed. It was on the main Preston and Wyre joint railway route from Preston to Fleetwood. While this resulted in the decline of Fleetwood Resort, it caused a serious boom for Blackpool. As the town was witnessing an influx of visitors being brought by rail, entrepreneurs were motivated to build accommodations and create new attractions. This, in turn, increased the influx of visitors, and the cycle of rapid growth continued throughout the 1850s and 1860s. Blackpool's growth and character, especially in the 1870s, were largely catalysed by the town's pioneering use of electricity. In 1879, Blackpool set the record as the first municipality in the world to decorate its street with electric streetlights, having large parts of the promenade wired. Owing to the lighting and its accompanying pageants, the status of Blackpool as the most prominent holiday resort in the north of England was reinforced. Life in Blackpool in more recent past. The population boom was complete by 1951, when the town had some 147,000 residents compared to 47,000 in 1901, and a mere 14,000 in the 1880s. By 1920, Blackpool had been receiving around 8 million visitors each year, 3 times as many as its nearest rivals in the whole of Britain. In 1937, the first department store was opened in the town by Littlewoods. In fact, it is in the books the almighty Adolf Hitler earmarked Blackpool as a piece of leisure after his planned invasion, and that is why it escaped heavy damage during World War II. Indeed, at the onset of the 20th century, this town was on a steady rise to greatness. The nightlife was great, restaurants were in top shape, music and entertainment were doing well, and Blackpool FC was the toast of everyone. However, the town could not sustain the momentous days of grace. Today as one of the worst towns in the UK. When the textile industry started declining, the effect on this town was serious. The traditional week-long break known as Wakes Week lost its appeal and prominence. As the package holidays gained momentum, many of Blackpool's regular traditional visitors started going abroad. Don't forget that the weather in this seaside town wasn't so reliable. The more reliably warm and dry weather, together with improved road and communications, exemplified by the construction of the M55 motorway almost 5 decades ago, made the Blackpool trip a day rather than an overnight stay. There's nothing to combat it as the economy remains relatively undiversified, based firmly on tourism. The effects of this decline are still obvious in employment, income, house prices, health, life expectancy and living costs. Since 2015, 65% of the residents are unemployed and are benefits claimants. This invariably lowers the gross income of the town, which falls among the lowest in the UK. The disposable income of each family remains £13,848 per year, since the weekly income is £417.10. While house prices and the general cost of living appear low on the surface, they are not correspondingly low. In fact, some cost factors such as car insurance are way higher than the national average at £561. A report shows that more than half of the residents smoke, which is the highest in the country. Even pregnant women don't stop smoking all through their maternity period. Alcoholism is also rife. The rate of drug abuse is the highest. This explains why Blackpool becomes a net importer of ill health with the highest rate of liver and kidney diseases. Life expectancies for both males and females are among the least in the UK. So when you see Blackpool being ranked poorly and low by different bodies and on different indices and platforms, you could understand why. Efforts to rebuild the town. The good news here is that the officials and leaders of the towns are not folding their hands. For instance, Dr. Arif Rajpura, the Director of Public Health, while not offering any miracle cure, is making efforts to fight the malaise of smoking, gambling and binge drinking. This, he hopes, will also reduce violence. Additionally, he is supporting the council's plan to enforce the curfew to reduce crime incidents. Tackling the housing challenge, they have ensured that guest houses are brought up by landlords so that they can profit from benefit claimants piled into the houses of multiple occupations, HMOs. While they are surely making effort and hoping to succeed, the official concludes, "We are winning the battle, but there's an awful long way to go." What do you think about how Blackpool is moving from grace to grass and what is being done to better its lot? Please kindly let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.